So hi there, good afternoon. Today we're going to sit here with Apryl Lopez from Vanguard Properties. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm going to tell you about Apryl. She's a Sonoma County native and has deep connections in the local community and deep knowledge of this area. With over 18 years in healthcare and experience as a business owner, Apryl developed a foundation in education, professionalism, and customer service. Transitioning to real estate, her core values of honesty and communication shine through, ensuring her clients are well informed and confident. She was awarded Rookie of the Year in 2021 and has received top producer awards from Vanguard Properties in 2022, 3, and 4. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's passionate about interior design, and with her husband Keith, who works in construction, they have remodeled several homes together. They live in Bennett Valley with their 3 children, their grandchild, 2 dogs, and a cat, and are proud members of the Sonoma County community. So welcome, Apryl.
Thank you.
So grateful to have you here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, excellent. Well, so we'll jump right in. And
I'm ready for it.
You're a rock star here at Vanguard Properties, and we're very proud to have you. I wanted to ask you about your transition to start off with from healthcare to real estate. What made you decide to change after 18 years?
Yeah, I went to school to be a oral surgery assistant, and I loved working in the dental field. I worked in every position you can in the dental field, but I really found my love for paperwork and the front office.
Now that's weird.
It's very weird. I loved the hands-on in the back office, but I transitioned very quickly into the front office, and I just found a really love for that. But COVID made me want to get out of that. I needed flexibility with my kids, and I was going from middle school to high school, and they needed me. And to be able to just be like, hey, I need to go to a football game at 4:00. Well, in healthcare, when you work an 8 to 5 job, you can't just leave when you want to leave. So I had already kind of dabbled to get my real estate license. I already had that passion. So I was homeschooling, and I just took the courses and did all of the things that you need to do. And it was an easy transition for me to just say, okay, I think, COVID changed a lot for everybody. And that was kind of that transitional phase for me of, okay, I think I'm done with this and I'm going to go into this. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting. I find that fascinating because most people think real estate, you can just come and go and do as you please.
Yeah.
But it's really probably 10 times more consuming than a 9 to 5
Well,
job.
I learned that real quick.
I know, that's the misnomer.
Yes.
So tell me how that was when you figured that out.
I did learn that very, very fast.
Yeah.
I was ready to go. I worked part-time for a really long time. I stayed home with my kids for a long time, kind of working part-time in healthcare. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for a full-time job. And I don't know, I still have that flexibility because I can work from my phone so much.
It's true.
So I can still make it to the football games at 4:00, and I can still do that. And I just really have to plan my days. And I knew going into it, I was going to work nights and weekends. Did I know how many nights and weekends I were going to work?
Right.
I was going to work, that's really what it came down to. So now it's just my family really knows that, hey, I might be at the football game from 4 to 6, but I might be showing houses from 6 to 7.
Right,
so
right.
so it's just a really time block that I'm a very big time blocker, because if I don't have it blocked, I lose sight of the busyness of everything. And I do get consumed with work. And I do end up missing things. So I think I really just have to be really, on top of my own calendar.
Right.
So I do have flexibility in that aspect
We do have
of it.
flexibility. It's true. But a lot of people that are new in real estate, which I commend you for being so successful so soon, because a lot of people do struggle with how to manage their own time because there's not much structure.
Right.
So maybe because you came from a structure and you figured out how to structure your day, or how did you figure that out?
I think so. I was always an 8 to 5 person as far as the way that I worked. And I like going to an office. I like getting that. I come to the office every day.
Good for you.
Because it's just that regimen for me. That's where I get my work done. So I guess that's probably why, I like going to an office. I like managing my time as far as that goes. And I think it really is because of healthcare. And I had to manage a doctor's schedule. I had to manage all of that. So it was very easy for me to transition to.
So you knew how to create a schedule and
block
hold
my
on to
time.
it and block your time.
Because it could be very much going shopping at Target all day, but you're not going to get anything done.
I always said we can meet a lot of realtors in Costco.
Yeah, that's so
when
sad.
I was recruiting.
So
Just
right.
go to Costco in the afternoon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So from zero to Rookie of the Year is quite an accomplishment. I just say congratulations.
Thank you.
Most people try to achieve that. How many transactions in your first year? Do you remember?
I think I did 3 or 4, but technically I hadn't really jumped into it, I think, until September when I decided to go full time. I had got my license in June, and I thought I was going to work and then just do real estate on the side. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I got my first transaction and I was like, yeah, I need to be full time. And I made that jump really quickly. And then I just took it and I just went with it. Yeah.
And what did you do to get your first clients?
Our director of agent services still thinks it's hilarious because I got a call one day and she's sitting next to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I got a listing appointment. And it was a referral from a friend and her dad needed to sell a property in Santa Rosa. And mind you, this was nothing was in it. It was a fixer, we'll call it. No kitchen, no bathrooms.
Oh, wow.
It was
challenging.
It was very challenging. And she called and says, hey, my dad needs to get rid of this property. Can you help him? And, Pam was sitting next to me and I was like, I don't know what to do. So she shows me a listing agreement and we go over it. And I'm like, okay, I think I got it. I could do the paperwork part of it. I had already been studying the paperwork so much. And she goes, okay, well, these are the things, the key points that you need to talk to. And I was like, okay, I'll be back. So I go on the listing appointment. I come back and I was like, okay, what do I do with this? And she's like, wait, you got the listing? And I was like, yeah, he signed everywhere he needed to sign. What do I need to do now? And she's like, well, there we go. I guess we're going with it. So that was, I just took it and I just went with it. So it was a referral and it
very
was
exciting.
It was actually an easy property to sell.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you never know how it's going to go. Some are easy and some aren't.
Yeah.
And so to build on that momentum, how did you find, because you've now become top producer 3 consecutive years in a row.
Yeah.
Which also congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to know what it is that you built in from the early days that you learned to do on a daily routine.
Yeah.
That does get you business.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know, what's the secret? How do I get clients? Where do I get clients from? Especially when you're new.
Oh, absolutely. And I think maybe we've talked about this before, that it takes a lot of back end hard work is really what it is. And I think the success, everybody's like, oh my gosh, you've done it. And it's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of working until 11 or 12 o'clock at night with my computer while trying to tell my husband, I'll be there in a minute. Those sorts of things. So, I'm really good with my time management as far as getting the back end marketing done. But I really have a referral based business. That's how I kind of pride my business. And I have a really good network of people. I'm very immersed in my community as far as my friend groups and my previous employer groups and just everybody who I surround myself with, my mom groups, that I really base my business on a word of mouth. So I really make those connections probably my biggest part of my day.
Do you tell everyone you're in real estate?
Oh,
Is that
everybody
what
knows.
you did?
Everybody
Is that how
knows.
you started? By really talking about
Yeah,
it?
word of mouth and social media. I mean, I was already very big on social media, Instagram, Facebook, those sorts of things.
Nice.
So that's how I kind of started getting the word out. And then I realized, I can really use this to my benefit. So I use that for a lot of my marketing. But that's how I stay top of mind with my sphere of my connection of people. So I do that. I mean, there's plenty of other things I still do, but
Like what?
I tried to do the whole like farming, sending postcards to different communities and whatnot, but it's just not my thing. It's so impersonal because I think I have such a connection-based business. I like going to the grocery store and saying, hey, how's it going? And maybe real estate comes up in conversation. I feel like, I don't know if you feel the same thing, but you can go sit down and have dinner and everybody Sometimes
about?
everybody, what are the things that people talk about? They talk about the weather and they talk about real estate, right?
Love to
So
talk about real estate.
everybody
Yeah, I
loves
do
to talk
find
about
that.
real estate. So it tends to just be a natural thing for it to always come up in my conversations. So I really take that, and that's how I kind of keep my momentum of talking with people and making sure that I keep those connections alive, especially if they've been thinking about it or whatnot, or hey, maybe, you know, I keep that connection going so that way that can be.
And then what do? Do you just start to contact them and send them things and tease them a little bit?
Yeah, so my farm or my postcards
Sphere of
go
influence.
to my sphere of influence. Yeah, so I really try to keep connected with them.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people do you think you have in your sphere of influence?
It started with probably like maybe 100, 120 of my close people. I'm probably up to like 215, 215-ish now. Obviously over the last 4 years, I've gotten a good influx of clients. So I really try to stay connected with them too, because your best referral is somebody who's already used you in business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I try to stay connected with my people because they hopefully will be the ones to refer me to the next
So I
person.
have a question that I haven't asked anyone yet.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about it too. I like it. Do you feel successful yet?
No, I don't. No.
It's an interesting question. I mean, you obviously are successful. You're making it in real estate.
Right.
The statistics prove, that 80% of the people will be gone in 3 years.
Yeah.
So you're now in year 4. Congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
made it.
Yeah,
okay?
made it.
And you probably will succeed for the rest of your life.
Yes.
As long as you choose to be in
Hopefully.
real estate. Yeah. As long
Yes.
as you choose it, the career will get bigger and bigger and you will become more and more successful.
Right.
And it won't be as difficult. Because I remember the day when I congratulated you and said, oh my gosh, congratulations on top producer. And you said, oh, it's so hard.
It is. It's a lot of
Say
work.
more about the hard part. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone sees us as, we put out an A-frame and we, stand in an open house for 2 hours and we make $30,000.
Oh yeah. If
Okay.
it were only that
So
easy.
let's break that down
Yeah.
and tell them the truth.
Yeah, I don't, there's a lot to that. So I tell everybody I work with that I don't just unlock a door. So as much as it would be easy to just make $30,000, that's great. But the breakdown of that is I don't make $30,000 per transaction. People don't realize I have to pay taxes and, broker fees and all of the things that come along with it. But if you know me, you kind of know my story, but I grew up in a very, not even middle class family, very poor family, we'll say. So success, I don't find myself successful. I think it will take me many years. I struggle with this every year. That I think it will take many years for me to feel that. But I mean, I know it's true, but I haven't really, I don't know. I actually struggle with that quite a bit. So that's a whole different topic.
I'm going to help you out there. Don't feel alone in that.
Yes.
Because many of us, no matter how high on the ladder you get, there's always someone prettier, richer, more famous, and more successful. So, but you are doing a great job.
And everybody measures success differently, right?
True.
The way I measure success is when I can retire my husband, that's when I will be successful enough. So that's
Is he looking forward to that?
Well, yeah. So believe me, he talks about it all the time. But that will be successful to me. Is he's 45. He wants to retire at 55, and that when I feel at that level of okay, we're comfortable, you can do that. I think that's probably when I will feel that, at least in my heart. But I feel like I'm just building a foundation right now. I think that's what that's how I spend my days. Is as much as I love the award and the appreciation of being a top producer, I really don't see myself there. It's weird because people, I take the congratulations, but nobody really knows how I really feel about it. It's really just, I'm just building a foundation, and that I'm very grateful for it, but I'm just getting started.
That's okay. Because you have a long way to go. You're a very young woman and you've got a long career ahead of you. Yeah. And there's a lot to learn and there's plenty to do in real estate.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to, it makes me think of goal setting, business planning, training, all of those 3 things. So Do you do business planning? Have you? Yes. So tell me, when do you typically do that?
So November, December is when I really start to wrap my head around business planning. I will set my goals. I'll really regroup of how my year went and the things I want to change within my year. And then that will set the standards for my next year. I break everything down because I can't look at it as a 12-month. I have to look at it as, okay, I'm here, I'm now.
Great advice.
So that's how I do my goal setting. So I'll probably take like a few months quarterly, as far as what do I want that to look like. I manifest quite a bit. I visualize. Now, let me also say that just manifesting doesn't give me the work, you know, so
you have to do the legwork.
You got to do the legwork, but I keep very on track of my numbers, in order to catapult me to the next quarter. As far as, wait, I slacked this month.
Right.
I know where I went wrong. Like, I'll reevaluate and I'll be like, well, I spent too many days at Target this month. Right. So, whatever it may be, right?
I
so,
understand.
yeah. So, wait, I need to go on broker tour. I need to do this. I need to do that. You know, I really try to reset myself, to stay on top of everything.
I find a lot of agents have this problem of, not only you have your goals and you set them, but also, you know, you get your escrow or you have a new transaction, I call it the baby, and you carry it around for 30 days and you forget to do all the activities that you need to be doing simultaneously in order to really keep the business flowing.
Yes.
So training, have you done training?
Oh, I go to
have you learned
I go to everything.
how to sell real estate?
I think that was the hardest part getting into it is we have training provided by our brokerage and that sort of thing. And I go to everything. I still go to everything. I'm still here to learn. But that was the hardest part is, okay, I have my license. What do I do now? Right. You know, like
that is the number one question.
I'm like, what do I do now? Like, I wanted to have, you know, I'm such a learn by experience person that it was very difficult for me. And then I finally, something switched and I was like, oh, I just have to figure it out. Like,
Kind of.
You really do.
There are manuals and there are coaches. Have you ever worked with a coach?
I haven't. No.
Well, that's something you can look into.
Yeah.
You said you work by referral only. That's one of the top coaches in our country who does have a program that's only by referral only. But you figured that out because you have an organic social media platform, and a very large one at that. So you're able to, and all your little groups. I mean, these are great ways to do. So you said, you said farming. You've done some of that. Do you do open houses every week, even if you don't have a listing?
I will definitely do open houses if I have a listing. I cater to my clients. I want to know feedback. If I have a listing, I want to know the feedback. I want to know who's walked through the door. So I usually hold open houses if I have a listing. I do try to pick up other open houses because that's how I can organically, hopefully, try to get some new clients. Because not everybody comes from my sphere. And if I feel like I'm like, I need something going on. Where is that going to come from? I'm the only one to drive that business, right? So I do pick up open houses. I have quite a few clients that I've met at open houses. I definitely have to feel a connection with somebody. Those are the ones who are now my clients.
Of course.
But they're few and far in between. Like, I could probably do 20 open houses and I maybe meet 2 or 3 people who are potential clients.
Which is great because if you think about 52 weeks a year, 20 open houses, and 3 or 4 new pieces of business, those are great numbers.
Right.
Really, they are.
Yeah.
Real estate at the end of the day is a numbers game.
It is.
I remember when I was brand new and I used to count how many no's do I have to have, which is like beat me up.
Right.
Before I actually get a yes. It's really difficult, but it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to do open houses and you have to try some farming and you have to do all the things that you're doing. I'm very excited about your podcast.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, yeah. So you do a great job. You've inspired me in a lot of ways, even though I'm an old dog, 35 years sitting in this chair. But, I got inspired by new young people like yourself. You totally inspired me when you said, let's do an interview.
Yeah.
That really clicked. And so tell me about your podcast.
So I started a podcast with Shannon Howard Pasordi. She's out of our Petaluma office.
Great agent.
Because we used to share an office. And I love her light and just brightness that she brings to my days. She has become a very good friend of mine. And we used to sit on our office and just come up with stories like, you can't make this up. Like, what's happening in real estate, you know? Like, wait, what happened? You know, like it was just kind of one of those things. And we organically started to have these conversations of, oh my God, we would be really great on a podcast. So we just were like, one day, let's just do it. Let's try it. So we started a podcast. I don't have a huge following, but we have enough that we're okay with it.
It's a start, like everything.
Yeah, we have a really good following on social media so far. But we just have fun with it. And we are Swifties at heart because we both have teenagers and teenage girls who love Taylor Swift. So we kind of took that Realtor Reputation as our name because Reputation was a Taylor Swift album.
Oh, okay.
So just so you know.
See, I don't know. I'm not a Swift. I mean, I love Taylor Swift. Don't get me wrong, but I don't.
Well, we tried to make it cute and catchy, and you know, we talk about our lives as working women, as moms, as professionals in real estate, and the things and the challenges that come up in our days. And it is just an organic conversation that we have. We don't script anything. We have our mom moments of the week is what we call it. And will we get any business from it? Maybe eventually. We just want to...
How long have you been doing it?
We started... It's been like a year, maybe. I think last December.
And you don't think you've gotten any business yet?
I mean, maybe I will say that my clients, I'll tell them, I don't actually tell them about my podcast until after I started working with them. And they love the relationship. Like,
they're probably afraid you're going to use them in an episode.
Well, I tried to like stay away from that. But they will start to see my personality come out, and I think that's really what it is. So I'm starting to include it in like my marketing materials and that sort of thing. I was kind of hesitant at first, but it really does show who I am as a person.
Absolutely.
And how much love and care I put into my business. So
and it shows. And I mean, people who are interested in working with you will, and people who won't will self-select it. Not to worry about it, because I've been told throughout the years that my personality is not for everyone. And, I found it hard to believe, but nevertheless, it's okay, because you learn that it's okay.
I tell myself if I don't have business come my way, I give myself I allow myself a 10-minute pity party. And then I'm like, it wasn't meant for me, I guess.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So marketing, you mentioned marketing. What else do you do for marketing?
I do a lot of sponsorship of my kids' school because it works out. My kids are very highly involved in sports, so I really throw a lot of my marketing at community involvement, as far as like throw a banner up at the baseball field, and so I do that sort of thing. At the football field, if you see me working the snack bar, my face is literally directly across, so that's fun. So I do that sort of thing. I market my listings very well. I really highly believe in video content. So I do a video for every single one of my listings. I do a video introduction. I'll introduce myself, every single one of my properties that I have, because that's kind of part of my marketing package. As far as social media, it's not just selling the property that I'm in, it's also selling myself, right? So I do a lot of that, and I throw a lot into like my social media, my video footage, and that sort of thing. So
excellent. Well, I am certain that you're going to go skyrocket to the top of our industry, and you'll be here for many years. I am positive of it. I know a winner when I see one, and you are one.
Well, thanks.
I've been training agents for a very long time, so I do know that. So let me ask you one more question. It's the age-old balance question, right? So I love that you are honest enough to share that at the beginning you didn't know how time consuming it would be.
Yeah.
Most people have no idea how difficult it really is and how many hours we really do put in.
Yeah.
Someone once said, well, you can work any 80 hours a week you choose. That's the flexibility part, which is great.
Yeah.
And you're up at 11 o'clock at night. I'll be right there, honey. I'll be right there. I did it many times myself.
Yeah.
So my question is, how do you balance? What do you do to balance it all? To keep, some of you intact and still give to your clients and still give to your children and your dog and your cat and your granddaughter and so on.
I am still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I am very much what you say, a workaholic, which is not always a good thing because it can mess up the whole balance part of it. I did have, I was a top producer last year. I probably units sold the most I had ever sold. And that balance was definitely off. I think that's what my focus is. I told you I reflect and I look at the things that I probably can fix. That's probably one of my biggest things that I'm working on this year. But I do try to be a active participant and parent. So there's that. How do I do it? I'm the worst person to ask that because how I do it. I sit by my pool with my computer in front of me. That's what I do. That's my balance, right? Is I get the sun, but I also have the computer in front of me. I'm still working on it. It's a struggle because when you work 60 hours plus a week, my husband's a very, very supportive man as far as like last night I sat at the dining room table while he was cooking dinner and I was writing an offer. Hey babe, give me an hour, and he wanted to talk to me.
Which is always
give me an hour.
My partners learned to say, I say, I'll be home in an hour and a half. Oh no, that's 2.5 hours. I know. I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
Because you can't rush our clients. We're dealing with a very important asset.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful for them, and they don't want to see us stressing and looking at our watch. We're there. This is our job.
Yeah.
Is to be on.
Yeah.
So that's a great answer, and it's an honest answer, which is most important, because the reason I'm doing this is I want other people to understand what it's like to really be in the trenches, and new agents especially, right? So I know what it's like. I could talk about it all day, but to hear someone actually living it is more powerful, I think. And you will learn. I mean, sometimes a little meditation in the morning, or sometimes a exercise class in the throughout the day. Frank Nolan we interviewed last week, and he's absolutely clear that he has his morning planned for himself. A couple of hours every morning, and then in the evening, every single night, he has his boundaries. And this is not something, I mean, he's 25 years in the business.
Right.
You don't learn that in the first 5. Because I always say it takes, I'm just a little coaching for you, the first 3 years are the hardest. The good news is they're over, and it will be hard. And when you get to 5, it'll start to get even easier.
Yeah.
But it's just an amalgam of everything that you have to learn in the very beginning. There's so much, and it's overwhelming. And do we ever really feel successful? I don't know. I mean, I've had a great career. And I still struggle with that question. I guess it's the overachiever in us. Right? So, but, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes great realtors. So I'm so proud of you again. And I'm really happy that you inspired me to take this project on. So I hope others will learn from your experience, and we'll get you back here in a couple of more years.
Well, wonderful. I will be here for you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Awesome.
You take care.
Thank you.
Excellent.